Like in many other series, the foundation of the power system in Jujutsu Kaisen is that of a spiritual energy, in this case, cursed energy. Cursed energy is specifically produced by the negative emotions of humans, originating around the gut, where most of us feel negative emotions such as anger, disgust, and fear. While all humans, with some exceptions, produce cursed energy, most humans do not produce enough to actively make use of, nor are they aware of cursed energy existing. However, there is a small number of humans that produce far greater quantities of cursed energy than the rest, and thus are able to actively make use of it. These people are sorcerers. While humans produce cursed energy, and continue to produce it throughout the entirety of their lives, they're only able to produce so much at a time, meaning that it is possible for them to run out depending on how much they use over a short span of time. This is comparable to a person's stamina, which can be worn out if they perform taxing enough activities within a certain time span. However, it is recovered after a certain amount of rest, meaning that a lot of sorcerers will choose not to make use of certain techniques at certain times per the risk of being worn out and still having more battles ahead of them in the very near future. There are three veins of cursed energy usage: reinforcement, fuel, and reverse curse technique. Reinforcement is the usage of cursed energy to improve one's physical capabilities for the purposes of upping their defense, offensive power, or their speed. However, there does seem to be certain limitations to how much someone can reinforce themselves. While it is dependent upon various factors, it does not seem like a person can reinforce themselves infinitely. However, they can reinforce themselves to absolutely superhuman levels. The primary usage for cursed energy is as fuel for curse techniques. I'm not going to get too deep into specific curse techniques today. However, curse techniques are generally unique or innate powers that a sorcerer has. It is effectively the special ability that they use, and the fuel for that special ability is their cursed energy. How much they use on their technique is dependent upon a few factors. Some techniques are far more taxing than others and require more or less amounts of cursed energy. The final and most advanced general application of cursed energy is that of reverse curse technique. This is the usage of cursed energy to heal oneself by multiplying cursed energy by cursed energy to create positive energy. If that sounds very confusing to you, that's because it kind of is, which is why learning how to use reverse curse technique is generally very complicated, and it's why very few sorcerers actually know how to use it. Within the usage of cursed energy, there are three fundamentals: quantity, output, and manipulation. Quantity is the amount of cursed energy that a person can produce. This varies from person to person. It can be influenced by a variety of factors, such as binding vows and the techniques that they use. It can also be increased over a limited span of time by a person experiencing incredibly intense negative emotions, such as the fear of death. Having a very high quantity of cursed energy allows for the usage of far more powerful techniques, and also extended combat, as one can continue to use their techniques and continue to reinforce themselves without fear of quickly running out and then being at a very severe disadvantage. Having a small amount of cursed energy greatly limits one's abilities when it comes to reinforcement, technique application, and usage of reverse curse technique. Since cursed energy is the fuel for these things, it means having very little means that you really can't do all that much. The two prime examples of cursed energy quantity are Yuta Okkotsu and Mai Zennin, for being at the very opposite ends of the spectrum. Yuta Okkotsu usually has the highest quantity of cursed energy of almost any character in the series, and this allows him to use cursed energy reinforcement and his copied techniques to great extents. And he can have very prolonged battles against powerful foes without the fear of running out, despite using up techniques or other methods of cursed energy usage that use up a lot of cursed energy. On the other hand, we have Mai Zenin, whose creation technique is theoretically very powerful. However, she only has a little bit more cursed energy than a normal human, meaning that she can only produce around 1 bullet's worth of created material within a day. Meaning that while her cursed technique is theoretically very powerful, her very low quantity of cursed energy renders her almost entirely useless in combat as a sorcerer. Output is the amount of cursed energy that one can use at a single time. This is heavily tied to, but not exactly the same as, quantity. Someone could have a very great quantity of cursed energy, but only be able to output a small fraction of it at a time, while another person could have a very small amount of cursed energy and use it all up in one go anytime they try to use their technique. The amount of output that one can produce determines how potent their techniques are, and how greatly they're able to reinforce themselves. The 2 prime examples of cursed energy output are Ishigori Ryu and Satoru Gojo, both of them for their great output. Ishigori Ryu has some of the greatest output we've seen in the entire series. His Grenade Blast would probably be okay if he had average cursed energy output, but his output is so high that it allows him to level city blocks and defeat Yuta Okotsu in a battle of sheer cursed energy output. On the other hand, we have Satoru Gojo, who also has very high cursed energy output. However, the innate qualities of his 6 eyes reduce his cursed energy usage to effectively 0, allowing him to endlessly output cursed energy, meaning that he can pretty much use really busted moves indefinitely. The last of the 3 fundamentals is manipulation, which is how adeptly one can utilize their cursed energy. This has less to do with inherent abilities and more to do with skill, but there are some exceptions. One's skill in manipulation affects their precision with reinforcement, utilizing only the amount necessary for certain situations. Highly advanced users can manipulate their cursed energy in such a way to mask their intentions in combat, making them very difficult for their opponent to predict. There are 3 specific examples of cursed energy manipulation: reverse curse technique, black flash, and anti-domain techniques. I've already explained reverse curse technique to an extent, so I'm not going to go over that again here. Black flash is the application of cursed energy within 1/millionth of a second of a physical hit, causing the cursed energy to flash black and increase the power of the normal attack to the power of 2.5, which theoretically means that the unit of cursed energy is above 1. There is a 1 cursed energy, I guess. Not even Gege really gets it. Landing a black flash requires such incredible precision with cursed energy manipulation that no one's ever been able to land one intentionally, so they pretty much all get landed by chance. Although the zone, or just sort of focus that landing a black flash puts a sorcerer into, makes it much easier for them to land more black flashes consecutively after landing the first. In addition to that, experiencing Black Flash for the first time provides sorcerers with a greater awareness of cursed energy manipulation, making them far more adept sorcerers than any of their peers who have not experienced Black Flash in the past. The last major example of cursed energy manipulation is anti-domain techniques, which rely on the manipulation of cursed energy to protect the user from the effects of domain expansions. It is of note that a person does not need to have a cursed technique to make use of anti-domain techniques. They just need to have enough cursed energy to make use of them. There are 3 primary anti-domain techniques we've seen in the series thus far. The first is the New Shadow style Simple Domain. This creates a barrier that protects the caster from the sure hit effects of other domains and gives them their own sure hit within a limited space. We are aware of some other offensive applications of Simple Domain and other aspects of the New Shadow style, however those haven't really been expanded upon too terribly much at this time. There's also Hollow Wicker Basket, which seems to be the predecessor to Simple Domain. It functions very similarly. However, it does not have the ability to nullify techniques, meaning that it has no effect on non-lethal sure hits or incomplete domains. Lastly, we have Falling Blossom Emotion. This secret technique manipulates cursed energy to counter the sure hit effects of domains the moment they manifest upon the caster. The prime examples of cursed energy manipulation are Hajime Kashimo and Yuji Itadori. Kashimo is so adept at manipulating the inherent electric properties of his cursed energy that he is able to get sure hit attacks on his opponents despite not actually using his domain, which is a very impressive feat. Yuji, on the other hand, has no particularly special properties to his cursed energy and does not even have an actual cursed technique. However, his manipulation of cursed energy allowed for the Divergent Fist technique, essentially giving him 2 hits in 1, throwing his opponents off balance, and made him extremely talented when it came to landing Black Flashes, with Yuji having landed more Black Flashes in total than any other character we've seen in the series, and managing to match Kento Nanami's records of consecutive Black Flashes, his first time experiencing Black Flash. Well, I hope that gave you guys a fairly in-depth and understandable explanation of cursed energy for those of you who are new to the series, or those of you who are long-term fans that needed a little bit of a refresher. Or, if you're a long-time viewer and you're a very knowledgeable fan, but you were just kind of interested to see what I'd have to say for this video. Either way, if you enjoyed, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of my uploads. I do Jujutsu Kaisen chapter reactions and reviews every week that we get a new chapter, but since we're on break this week, I decided to start this new Jujutsu Explained series. I'll be doing them every week that we get a break. I will try to be producing some videos ahead of time to put them up for early access on the Patreon and for channel members, so be sure to keep your eyes out for those in the future. I do not have any concrete plans for which ones I'm going to do next, so I will accept any suggestions you guys have down in the comments. Also, if you're interested in discussing Jujutsu Kaisen with other people, or you just enjoy the content I produce in this channel, I highly suggest you check out my Discord server. I have a link to that down in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys around. Take care.